We hear so much about AI doing amazing things these days, curing diseases, writing poetry, you name it.
It's true. The progress has been incredible.
What about the times when AI messes up?
That's the question, isn't it? And it's not always so obvious. There's some fascinating research out of Apple's AI team. They found that even something as simple as adding one sentence to a math problem can totally trip up even the most advanced AI.
Okay, hold on. AI messing up basic math? That doesn't sound very intelligent.
Well, it's not about being bad at math exactly.
Yeah.
We're talking about large language models, or LLMs for short.
LLMs, right.
These are the brains behind things like chatbots, those AI assistants we're all using more and more.
Right, got it.
And these LLMs, they're designed to understand human language.
All right.
But to do that well, they need to be able to make logical inferences,
Inferences meaning?
meaning they need to understand the connections between words, the logic behind them.
So it's more than just knowing the definition of a word.
Way more.
It's about understanding how those words fit together to make meaning.
Exactly. Think of it like asking your phone for directions.
Okay.
It's not enough for your phone to just recognize the words turn left or go straight.
Right.
It needs to understand how those words relate to an actual map, to your current location, to the route you need to take.
That's a good way to put it. So where do these LLMs, these language models, where do they stumble?
Well, in this Apple research, they used a pretty straightforward math problem.
Okay.
It involved kiwis, actually.
Kiwis, the fruit.
Yep, the fruit. So imagine I tell you, Oliver picked 44 kiwis on Friday. On Saturday, he picked 58 more. On Sunday, he picked twice the amount he did on Friday. How many kiwis does Oliver have in total?
Okay, I think I could handle that one.
Exactly. And most LLMs, they can solve that, no problem.
Okay.
But here's the thing. The researchers added a second version of the problem.
Okay.
And in this version, they added an extra sentence. On Sunday, he picked twice the amount he did on Friday, but five of them were slightly smaller than average.
Hold on, they just threw in a random detail about the size of some of the kiwis?
Exactly. Seemingly random.
Why'd that matter? We just want to know the total number.
You'd think it wouldn't, right? But that one little detail, it threw the LLMs, even advanced ones like GPT-01 Mini, completely off.
Wow, really?
They were making calculation errors because of that one sentence about smaller kiwis.
So it's not just about being bad at math, it's something deeper, isn't it? It's about how these AIs are actually processing information.
Exactly. It suggests that maybe, instead of genuinely reasoning, these LLMs are just really good at mimicking patterns.
Mimicking patterns.
Yeah, they've been trained on these massive data sets, right?
Sure.
So they're amazing at recognizing patterns in the data.
Okay.
But when something falls outside those patterns...
It's like they don't know what to do.
Exactly.
It's like they're just parrots repeating phrases, but instead of phrases, it's mathematical relationships.
That's a great way to put it. And the implications of this are huge. We need to think beyond just miscalculated kiwis.
Absolutely. And we'll do just that right after the break. Stay with us.
Yeah, miscalculated kiwis might not seem like a huge deal, but when you start thinking about it, what if it's not about kiwis? What if it's a self-driving car?
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this.
And that car misinterprets a road sign because it gets thrown off by some small detail that's irrelevant to us.
Mm-hmm.
But the AI latches onto it.
Right, like a tree branch partially obscuring the sign or something.
Exactly. Or think about a medical diagnosis.
Okay, yeah.
An AI chatbot trying to give advice. But it gets thrown off by a symptom that seems important.
But isn't actually relevant to the diagnosis?
Right. And that could have serious consequences.
So what do we do about it? How do we prevent these kinds of errors?
Well, it's tough. The researchers at Apple, they suggested maybe giving LLMs even more data.
More data? Like how much more are we talking?
A lot more, like showing them thousands of examples where irrelevant details don't change the outcome.
So they learn to recognize those patterns of irrelevance.
Kinda, yeah. But even they admitted it felt like a BandAid solution.
Because a 5-year-old wouldn't need to see a million examples to get it right.
Exactly. A child just seems to understand that the size of the kiwi doesn't matter if we just want the total number.
It's like we have this built-in sense of what's relevant.
It seems that way, yeah.
And AI just doesn't. Not yet, anyway.
Right, and that's important to remember. We can't overestimate what AI can do, even when it seems super smart.
We can't get caught up in the hype.
Exactly. We have to be realistic about its limitations.
So we can use it responsibly.
Absolutely. That means continuing to research, to make it more transparent, more reliable.
And making sure it aligns with our values.
100%.
It feels like we're at this turning point with AI,
Yeah, definitely.
where it has this incredible potential, but we have to be so careful about how we use it.
We are writing the story of AI as we go.
And understanding these limitations, the potential pitfalls, that's crucial.
It's the first step to making sure that story has a happy ending.
This has been really eye-opening. So as we move into this future where AI is everywhere, what are some key takeaways for our listeners? So as we move into this future where AI is everywhere, what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
I think the biggest thing is don't be afraid to question AI.
Question it, how so?
Like, just because an AI can write a poem or solve a math problem doesn't mean it actually understands what it's doing.
It goes back to that mimicking versus understanding thing.
Right. And as we rely on AI more and more, in healthcare, finance.
Self-driving cars.
Exactly. We need to remember AI has blind spots.
So we can't just blindly trust it.
Exactly.
We need to understand how it's making decisions.
Yes. And be able to question those decisions.
It's almost like we need to become AI literate.
I like that, AI literate.
Yeah.
It's not just about knowing how WAI works.
Yeah.
It's about understanding its limitations, its impact on us.
And that's on all of us, not just the tech people.
Absolutely. The future of AI, it's not some science fiction movie. It's being written right now by all of us.
Through the choices we make, the questions we ask.
Exactly.
Well, this has been incredible. Really makes you think about the future of AI.
It sure does.
And how we can shape it for the better.
That's what we're here for.
Thank you so much for this deep dive. It's been amazing.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us. And keep those brains buzzing.